So here's the thing. What should our relationship with the EU be? I know this is... I know it's quite a complicated question, right? What should it be? A business relationship? I mean, that's kind of loosely it, right? Because if you think about it back in the day, when most of us were either not born or couldn't vote, but in the 70s, when they... they had the whole kind of European Union, I'm trying to think of what the name of it was. There was the European Economic Area, European Union, Common Market, that's the word I was looking for. This was all about, it was about just a trading deal. And it sort of made sense. And then it kind of grew into something else. But we all remember the day well, don't we? We all remember the day well. 23rd of June, 2016. It was about 3 o'clock in the morning when this announcement was finally made.
The total number of votes cast in favour of leave was 17,410,742. This means that the UK has voted to leave the European Union.
And an almighty ferret went up the left trouser leg of all of those that had argued in the opposite direction. We voted to leave the European Union. Now, here's the thing with elections and referenda. They have a cruel habit of not pleasing everybody. There's a word for it, by the way, what the referenda and elections do. It's called democracy. The Brexit vote was close, but it was clear, right? And it kind of doesn't matter how much you squeal or disagree. That is the nature of the democratic voting process. It's also worth adding that because you can't really say this enough, by the way, even 8 years later, the idea that everybody who voted to leave the EU was some kind of ill-informed reactionary half-wit is in itself grade A lunacy. So all of these things have been thrown. It was never going to be... We knew it was never going to be easy. It was never going to be straightforward. There'd be bumps in the road. There'd be hurdles all over the place. There'll be detractors who will try and reverse the results, and politicians who should know better, who will do their best by any means possible to reverse the decision made by the British public. But it's too late for all of that now. You can't reverse it. Unless you are Keir Starmer. Yes, the Chancellor himself did all he could to agitate the original decision. As you may remember, he was having none of it. But as he approached the big title of Prime Minister, he had to make it clear, had to be seen to make it clear, no, we're not going back in. No intention of going back to the EU or messing with things like freedom of movement. Until now. And I say until now, and this is not, it's very easy to be mischievous and cheeky and throw the act, he wants to take us back into the EU, doesn't he, old Keir? Spoiler alert, he really does. I mean, that would be his absolute dream come true. And here's the thing, this shows you the level of how disillusioned, particularly, and we've got a lot of disillusioned politicians right across the board, but certainly those that sit on the left. He believes that because he's from the Labour Party and therefore a socialist, he can turn up on his European tour and people will think he's the real deal. They'll listen to him. Wouldn't listen to a Tory. They'll listen. He can do stuff the other people couldn't do. That's what he doesn't get. He genuinely thinks he can hot-foot it to Germany and France and make a difference because he's Labour, not Tory. And somehow they will listen. It doesn't stop him trying. He's been meeting, of course, holding a very, 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 very exciting press conference with Chancellor Olaf Scholz of Germany. Wow, that was like Netflix next big thing. And they're on fire, that pair. I didn't stop gnawing my own face right the way through the whole thing. They're discussing boosting business and increasing joint action on illegal immigration. What does he define? Trying to get Starmer to define what is illegal immigration is like trying to get Starmer to define what a woman is. So that we're in the same territory. But he says he wants to build relationships with our European partners. What does he mean by this? He says we have a once-in-a-generation opportunity to reset our relationship with Europe and strive for genuine, ambitious partnerships that deliver for the British people. He said that with his brand new glasses and his whistle in full flow. Away he went. We must turn a corner, he went. How many more cliches can this man wheel out? It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Times are going to be tough. We strive for better. We must turn a corner. He's got a PhD in this stuff. And after his day, he's going to go and do it all again in France. So he's got the whole thing wrapped up there. He's gone to see the Germans. What is he really after over there? What is really going on? Is this Keir Starmer's sneaky way? I mentioned the phrase, which for some reason got lots of giggles in Julia's studio, when I said that Keir Starmer is looking for a back door. And that's essentially what I think Keir Starmer is doing. He's out there looking at the terrain. Is there or could there be? The only way he's ever going to get what he really wants from his European chums is to rejoin the EU. And in his heart, we all know he would like to, right? 0344 499 1000. In fact, it's bigger. It's bigger than the fact he'd like to. Look, if he plays his cards right, in election terms, in theory, by the way, oh, God, what a horrible thought. In theory, he's going to be there for 2 terms. It'll be that second term where he might want to make that difference. And then he goes down in the history books as the guy that took us back to the EU. He would love all of that. What should our relationship with the EU be?